Hey, how are you guys doing this morning?
What's up,
What's
Mike?
the last week been like to cover this team? It's been crazy.
Dude, it was insane because I mean, it's the Redskins, something always happens, but I don't think like I don't think I've ever had a week where there was just so much bang, 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 and then happened at such late. I mean, I got like the least amount of sleep I think I've ever gotten. I think I've never done so much bar hopping, chasing people to find some answers and stuff like that. At 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning. It was quite the interesting combine. I didn't write a single thing about draft picks.
All right, so let's talk about this, the ramifications of it, because there are so many. I mean, when I read it, immediately I think, okay, well, this is a sign to Kirk, right? But then I also think, by the same token, it gives Jay a little more juice, a little more sort of comfort if they decided, you know what, they're just not going to be able. Then Jay can also sign off and say, all right, trade him, whatever. I don't think they're going to trade him. I think they're going to come to an agreement here. But I do think it gives him a little more security that way. But the third thing is, I also think, man, this just solidified. This is the final nail in Scot McCloughan's coffin. I mean, he had nothing to do with this. This is not his coach. He's been re-upped on his watch while he's at home on his couch watching nothing. He's so far out of the equation right here, I can't see him ever getting back into it.
Yeah, and that's the really sad thing because Scott is such a good dude. Loves football, eats, drinks, sleeps it. You talk to guys who've worked with him in the league, and all he does is watch football and unfortunately drink.
Right.
And there's frictions that are going on there between him and Allen. We still don't know the whole story of what happened there. Some type of blow up, some type of, I mean, this thing is headed to a divorce.
Very quickly.
100%. I don't see them working together. There's no way.
Yeah, and I mean, they're saying like, oh yeah, everything's gonna be okay. He's gonna be working when we get back, but after the draft, boom, he's probably gone. But yes, Jay Gruden is growing in his power, and his respect in the eyes of Bruce Allen, Dan Snyder.
I've actually been told by someone that spoke to Jay that, I mean, the fact is Jay likes Kirk, but he doesn't love him. He's not all in love.
Same people.
Say again?
Are we talking the same people?
Might be. We might be. He likes him, but he, it's not his dream boat. You know what I mean? He's not his forever love.
He also was cavalier last week when he said he wouldn't blink if they lost Pierre and Deshaun.
Well, now Pierre's shooting back on Instagram. Did you see that?
I didn't see the latest salvo.
Yeah, so now Pierre, so Pro Football Talk tweets something about, sort of how comical it is. The Redskins are spending all this money, re-upping Jay. They're a franchise in chaos. And then Pierre quotes that and then puts a bunch of like crying faces.
Laughing emojis.
Laughing, crying emojis. So now he's mocking the team that he allegedly was begging to sign with.
Yeah.
Not good.
Well, he knows he has suitors. He has multiple suitors that are going to be after him. So
and he knows they're not paying attention to him.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that, Pierre likes being here, but I think that he feels like, okay, obviously he sees the writing on the wall, and he's just like, this place is just such a mess here, and that's all he can do is laugh. And, I mean, you saw him put out all these bar graphs last week with his production and numbers over the last 2 years versus every other wide receiver that's a free agent this year. And so I think he feels confident in himself knowing that, I think I wouldn't be surprised if he winds up in San Francisco with Kyle.
Hey, does anybody know, get back to Scott, does anybody know where Scott is, where in the world he is?
I'd heard Virginia.
Yeah, he's home. He's not in rehab.
Home where?
People had wondered about that. Loudon.
So he is in Ashburn.
Loudon. Yes. And he's talked to some people. He's watched in the combine on TV and watching game film. It's really sad. And now some guys are saying, when we get back to Ashburn on Tuesday, Scott's going to be there running meetings and everything. I would really find that hard to
be shocked
imagine.
by that.
But yeah,
it ain't happening.
But
it's not happening. Where do you put? I put it at. I still think $4 million, $24 million to 20. It's not that big a difference. If they can bridge that gap, I think pretty easily. I think they're going to come up with a long-term deal here that will work for both sides. I put it at. I think there's only about a 20% chance. I know there was that fake report that came out. There was 51% more likely that he was going to be traded. I think it's down to about 20%, but I'm just an observer. I don't know anything. This is my best guess. What is your best guess?
I don't know what percentage I put on there, but I do I mean, they're talking, and that's more than, what they had been.
Mhm.
I think that it's still going to be a while. I think they'll wait and see what the, if they don't get a crazy offer around draft time, then I think they go ahead and, they wind up working something out maybe. But then I can also see the scenario if he plays one more year. But I think that they would rather get some compensation for him than not. So
Right. I think that's a zero.
Why would they risk that, Mike?
I think that's a 0%.
Why would they risk not getting any compensation and letting him play under the tag without a deal?
Well, the only reason before I thought that they might do that is because Jay Gruden was desperate and like, I need to win now to get an extension.
Right.
This extension changes everything in my mind now.
I agree.
Now that they're not quite as, not quite as desperate, and maybe in a way they're like, okay, look, Kirk, we've got Jay here, and you want to be here with him. He's the reason why you're a starting quarterback.